All right, guys. With that down, let's go on to this. The Detroit Lions won the battle this week, but arguably maybe lost the war as their arguably best player, other than Jeff Goff, maybe?
Jared Goff.
Jared, I keep saying Jeff Goff.
Yeah.
And whenever I refer to Jared Goff, I always say Jeff, 100% every time. And I guarantee I'll do it again this show. So Aidan Hutchinson had a horrific leg injury. It was hard to look at and it was hard to watch. Yeah. And a lot of guys in the sports punditry circles were saying, there does not go Detroit's season, but there goes their chances at the Super Bowl. To which I'm not really sure I buy that, but his importance to the team. The guy is leading the league in sacks, pressures, and I think knockdowns. He's got 6.5 sacks. Hell, that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that guy was freaking Thanos. Like, there was nothing. He got, 4.5 sacks? That one game? They had to change their entire offensive scheme just because Hutchinson was just destroying them. Anyway, a couple of really interesting comments have come out about there's a chance Hutchinson may return this season. It started with the coach, Campbell, over at Detroit. This is what he said. He said, I would never count Hutch out, ever, Campbell said. So probably a long road, but I would never count him out. And I would say if anybody can make it back, they're talking about in the terms of this season, it'd be him. Campbell said Hutchinson's surgery went great on Sunday night at Baylor White Medical Center, Irvine, Texas. So that went great. Now, my first thought is, well, of course the coach is sounding supportive and cheering. If anybody can do it, here can do it. But come on, anybody who saw that doesn't believe for a second he can come back. But it turns out the Detroit coach isn't the only guy saying that. According to a Detroit report, a reporter said this, that a close member of Hutchinson's family said this to a reporter. Remember, this is a member of his family. Mm-hmm. Even though it looked bad, it's less of an injury than he suffered in college. Pretty soon he will be bionic. When we make it to the Super Bowl, he will be ready to go. When we make it to the Super Bowl, he will be ready to go. So you got the coach. To me, it sounded wishful thinking, but kind of implying that there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. There's a chance that he could make it back. If they make it into the playoffs and do a deep playoff run, he could make it back. Okay, that's fine. But then a family member says, actually, look, this injury isn't as bad as the one he had before. And you watch, he will be back. But if we get to the Super Bowl, who knows, maybe even before that, he'll be back. Question, though. You never want to rush an injury.
It's just a leg.
It's just a leg.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's not like to his brain.
No.
It's just a leg.
He has 2 of them, guys.
Yeah. He can just slap some wood and a nail in there, you're fine. But I've got 2 concerns. One, the idea of trying to rush him back. Again, I'm not as concerned about that because look, if a doctor clears him and says, look, your leg is as good right now as it's ever going to be, you can go. That's fine. Here's my second problem. And I think about this in sports all the time when a guy's been out the whole season or half a season and then comes back in the quarterfinals or something like that, is this. Let's say it's even before the Super Bowl. Let's say it's the, division championships, whatever. At that point, you're going to have another player who's been playing consistently for like 10 weeks, probably 12 weeks at that point. Do you pull that player out who's been playing and is no rust, whatever, and then insert in even somebody like Hutchinson who has been lying on his back for 8 weeks and then walking in a boot for 3 more weeks and then kind of started practicing in for 2 weeks? I don't know. I just think at this point, I know he's great, but Detroit is even great without him. I say you don't even entertain the idea. You just say, dude, here's a PlayStation 5. Here's a year-long membership to Pornhub. I don't care. You stay in that bed, lift that leg, and you just be ready to
work
go
out your arms, apparently.
Yeah, just curl.
Upper body only.
I don't know. What would you do in their spot? And what do you think ultimately is going to happen here?
The typical recovery time is 4 to 6 months. 4 months would be the Super Bowl. So that's on the very low end of it. I mean, like you said, he'd have to come back, ramp up, and play in the most important game in Lions history, probably, if they made the Super Bowl. So I don't know if that's the time to do that. He's a great player. I mean, there's other players that have come back from injury very fast. Like T.O. came back from his surgery in the Super Bowl.
I remember that, yeah.
I think Terrell Suggs came back in like 6 months from a torn Achilles. So there is some history of people coming back fast, but completely snapping your leg into and then coming back in 4 months and a pass rusher doing these type of moves. I don't know. I don't see it. It could be kind of going to what you're saying. Maybe someone does take his spot, but maybe that person isn't good. So maybe they do need the help.
Anything would be better,
So
sort of thing.
they would need something. But yeah, I think it's really just up to the doctors. I'm sure he probably will have a titanium thing in his leg probably after this, putting his bones back together. So
Here's interesting. A lot of people are saying they should be, and some people in live chat are saying this too, but we've been hearing a lot of calls saying they should go out and trade for Max Crosby. Now, obviously right now, because we're going to get to Devontae Adams,
Yeah.
the Raiders are having a yard sale.
yeah, the fire
apparently,
sale. Yep.
over there at, what's the name of the Allegiant?
Allegiant.
Over there at Allegiant Stadium in the parking lot, they're
Yeah.
rolling out their players. There's a garage sale going on. My thing would be go out and get Crosby depending on what you'd have to give up for him. Because like I said, it's not like Detroit's in trouble. Like their offense,
It's good.
top 1 or 2 offense in the league, in my opinion, when they're firing, they're going to put up a lot of points and they're going to beat most teams with or without Hutchinson. So I guess if you can get Crosby for like a 3rd round pick,
Yeah.
sure. If somebody wants 2 round picks or a 1st and a 2nd, I say thanks, but no thanks. I think we'll try our luck and keep our future intact. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think Aidan Hutchinson can make it back for a late playoff run or the Super Bowl? It seems unlikely to me, but there are people in his camp that say it might be possible. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.